Welcome csc230 class to EX1 for website design and development. And what you're looking at now is kind of a sample of what you're going to be working on. This happens to be EX4 from the last time we did it, but we're going to be doing EX1. It's going to be a little different. We'll have a different photo here for our header image. It'll be kind of a snowy winter image since it's January right now. And the colors might be a little different because we may update the colors to kind of match the photo, just like this one used kind of an off-white and blues that kind of pulled from that photo there. Now that's part of the CSS. We're going to kind of work on the HTML first. We'll do this in little steps in the beginning. And what we're going to do on this, we're just going to put together lists and links. That's why it's called lists and links. We're going to have a numbered list where we're going to put some shows that you might have watched. Again, if you watched movies or anything like that, you could do that. But a lot of people binge watch things on Netflix and Amazon and stuff like that. So we're going to do that, and we're also going to put links here so that you can click on a link and actually have it open in a new window. It's usually like a Wikipedia thing. So if I click here, it'll open up Stranger Things in Wikipedia and other shows here that are on here. And then we're also going to have a bulleted list, another list. This is going to be a bullet list, and we're just going to put things I missed during the winter, since it's winter time right now as we're working on this. And you could put anything you want there. There's just 4 bullet lists of things you missed during the winter, or I might miss, or you might miss during the winter, and shows that you might watch. Now we're going to use CSS to format this, to make this page center in the center of our window. The colors, everything that's lined up here is going to be CSS. So what we're going to do first is work on the HTML. So that'll be the first part of EX1. Now what we're going to do first before we get here, and I'm going to have some HTML set up for you so you could kind of learn by looking at it, then you'll do some more from scratch. But I'm going to log in first, and this is why you need to have your workspace created and shared so I could drop a folder in there for you. Now I'm going to log in under my student account so that, and I use Richard Homa as my student account. And here's my account, and again here's my csc230 workspace, which is shared, and my csc200 workspace, which is shared. And I'm going to open this, my 230, so you might open one by mistake because they kind of look the same. So I'm going to open up my 230 workspace. Just in case it's not shared or anything, remember that you want to make sure you share it over here. So if it's not shared, now I think this is shared, this is where you would invite people, and you can see it's shared with Professor Homa. RW says read and write. That means I could read and write, and that helps me drop things into your workspace. So make sure that you do that, and the one video before that shows how to do that. So I don't have to do anything right here. Now this is the folder that got dropped in there. So 230, csc230 rich, or your first name, is your workspace, and all your exercises are going to be put in there. Now EX1 was just put in there. It's a separate folder for that exercise. Now inside there's an image folder, and there's an image file, or not an image file, an index.html file. Image file is the one header image that we're going to use. If I double click on it, I think it opens up in here. So it's kind of a winter image that we'll use since it's January right now. I could close that up. This is the index.html. I'll open that up, and I'll just show you a couple things with this right now. Now also, first of all, the colors that you see, the purples of the HTML tags, there's HTML kind of characters here that are in blue, UTF-8. Some of these attributes are kind of in this almost lime green color. One thing I just want to point out, if you go to these preferences right here next to share, this little preferences button, and you click there, if you go down to themes, if you're still seeing kind of a white setup, or if you want to change anything, the one I'm using right now is this black classic theme, and it's called Cloud9 Night Low Color. And if you want to check out any other ones, here's Cloud9 Night. If you close it up, you can see it's using red. I don't like the red, I like the purple. So I'm going to go back and keep it Cloud9 Night Low Color. That's fine for now. And I'll close that up. So if you're using your white one or anything like that, that's okay. But if you want to change it to the black background, you would use this, and it's Cloud9 Night Low Color. Now just a couple things I want to point out before we get started, because I do have HTML kind of a shell set up for you to kind of work with, just to get familiar with until you do your own. There's the doc type declaration that's up here, and that basically declares that you're using HTML5, and it's very short. There used to be a longer declaration, but this one is very short. And there's no closing tag for the declaration. That's it. It's in white. There's no, if you click on it, you'll see no partner tag or closing tag. Now if you click on the HTML tag, you can see it's showing when I click on the opening, it shows my closing tag down there, and it lines things up so that you could better see where the opening and closing is. Now this opening also has a kind of attribute that's up here, or value. I guess in HTML they say value. The attribute is lang, the value is en, which means it's English language. And that's the only thing that is inside that opening HTML tag. You don't have to have that, but it's recommended to have that. And then the next opening and closing tag is the head tag. And remember, that's the one that doesn't really have anything visually that you see except for the page title when you go to view the page. And if you wanted to view the page right now, just go to preview, live preview. And I mentioned that I want to actually open this up in a new tab, and I want to see it like this. So if I go back here, I could close this. I'll close this tab. I don't want it open up in here. I want to see it in another tab. So this is the tab that's here right now, and you can see there's nothing here. The only thing is in the copyright, and the only thing in the head tag you'll see is this ex1 lists and links. So I'll go back right now. So there's nothing else in here. Everything else is empty. And down here I put this, and you could put your name. So I put your name here. So even replace the brackets and just put your name. I'll just put mine here. So that's in there. So then if I went here, let's see, without saving, it should update it. And I'll go back here. So that's the only thing you have to kind of update to start. But just so you see the structure, the head is really things you don't really see. There's the meta car set, or car set, however you want to pronounce it, and has UTF-8. That's kind of the Unicode. It's basically more of a universal worldwide kind of character set that you could use, and it's recommended. If you're not sure, go to W3 Schools, look up UTF-8, there'll be all kinds of information about it. But this is kind of the recommended one that is universal as far as character sets that are used for your pages, so they show up well in other languages and things like that. So that's all you need there. And then also, these things are comments, HTML comments. There's 2 of them with these little brackets and exclamation points and dashes, and the 2 dashes and the little bracket over here, and they're showing up gray, indicating they're comments. And it just says start of CSS internal styles and then end CSS internal styles. That means inside these style tags, we're going to put CSS, and we're going to put it right inside the HTML page. Eventually, we'll make external CSS files and link to them, but for now, we'll put everything right in the same page. It'll just be easier to have everything in one place. So that's the head tag. Then there's the body. This is all the physical content of the page that you'll see, and the only thing that's in there right now in white is the copyright. So when we looked at it, that's all we got. So you still have a lot to do in here. And it's broken up into header, and these are HTML5 kind of sections, or HTML5 tags that we're working in, or elements. And again, the whole idea of elements and tags, it's the header element, but there's an opening and closing header tag. That's the way we kind of say it. So there's a main element, but there's an opening and closing main tag. Tags have the less than and greater than signs. Closing tags have the slash in them. And not all elements have a closing tag. You can see the meta car set. Every time I say that, I have to say both ways. But the meta car set will not have a closing tag. Images will not have a closing tag. So there will be tags that don't have a closing, or there will be elements that don't have a closing tag. But these do. And we have a header, we have main, and we have a footer. And we're going to put some lists in the main, and we're going to put our image up here in our header. That's where we're going to put our image. So we're going to do a couple things in here. I'll even make it a little bigger. And our 2 lists are going to go in here. And then we don't have to do anything in the footer. So we're going to get all our HTML content in there first. So let's just look and see what we have here. Again, we're going to have an H1, a main headline that'll just say my EX1. It won't say 4. It'll say 1 lists and links. I'll put this in here. And now I didn't put anything in the header yet. I didn't put my image in, but I will. And before the video gets too long, I think I'll take a break here. So we'll end part 1 here, and then we'll move on to part 2.